Good evening, you guys. Welcome back to the chat. We're live. Good evening, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. It was a little hiatus to the Yucatan, doing it up in the Yucatan down there, and it was awesome. And I'm back. I was doing research on. I was just trying to find some cool stuff to learn about, to read about, to catch a vibe. I was realizing that I get a lot of peace, and not even peace, but I get a lot of homey, nostalgic comfort from sitting in the den, studying, researching, learning about new things in this world. I like it a lot, man. It hits a chord in me that is unlike no other. You know what I mean? And I stumbled across some secret chants, or see, it was on DuckDuckGo, making sure I didn't get filtered out by anybody, and I came across this ancient chant from a druidic goddess, and the name of Cerridwen. And let's see if I can find this. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Ancient chant to invoke. All right, let's. Like I said, it struck a chord, so I continued and saw that in Celtic, Welsh mythology, a powerful underworld goddess and the keeper of the cauldron of knowledge, inspiration, and rebirth. I thought, damn, inspiration is something I could use right now. Rebirth, knowledge, always information, entertainment, right? Rules inspiration, magic, enchantment, and knowledge. And I thought, hey, that's cool. She's awfully close to Thoth and the things that we like to study about that. So there goes the dogs, which we've already established that the dogs are keeping the evil spirits away. So thank you, dogs, for doing your dog thing. And thank you guys for Elgiah Thomas. Thank you. Happy to be back. It's good to be back. Everything going good on your end, you guys? We're going to start this chant. I'm going to read the chant to you guys, and I'm going to do my best because it's in a different language, ancient Welsh, I think. We're going to do our best, though. We're going to do our best. And let me know if anything weird's going on with the sound, you know what I mean? Everything's coming through crispy and clear. We appreciate it. Deep to extreme, shuffle, secrets. Need some small, you guys. Subtle. There we go. Everyone slap the like button for me. That would be great, so that we can get the live broadcasted out to the rest of the channel. You know how it is. We need the likes so that the algorithm keeps over, so that more people get the notifications. Some friends become enemies. Some enemies become friends. I'm gonna light this cigar. Right, we're gonna light this cigar. Got a Cuban cigar. I think you can get Cuban cigars here now. We've lifted the embargo, right? A Cuban cigar. I got it from Cancun, and we're burning it. This is going to be our sacrifice. We have the fire element. Let's talk about rituals. You guys know that there's damn near nothing you can do that's not a ritual. Fire, tobacco leaf is earth, right? Grown of the earth. So fire, earth, and wind, air. Fire, earth, air. We don't have water, but you can see it as like a video game. You guys like video games, fantasy games? And you have a ruin of earth plus 20, fire plus 6, wind plus 9, and you combine them all and it makes a special kind of ruin gear with special qualities with the elements that are involved. It doesn't involve, you don't have to involve. Sometimes you don't want to involve all elements. Say you're trying to cast a spell, you're trying to do some weird shit where you want to, where the element, the attributes of water are not called for, or in fact, the attributes of water are specifically working against what you're trying to do. I don't know, say you want to do something where you're stern and you want to set well-defined boundaries on yourself or a relationship, or on your life, period, because you feel like you're all over the place and you're loose and you can't really fucking find focus, then you're for sure not going to involve water because water is fluid. It's it sort of takes the form of whatever it's inside of because it doesn't have very good boundaries. So you know what I mean? So we're activating a nice little charm here. Not to say that water is not needed in this, what we're about to do, just that we don't have any. I mean, I have this glass of Jamaica water. It's been sitting in the fridge for the past couple days, but so maybe we got them all. We got them all. Sand nights. The vacation was amazing. I loved it. Zero. Hello. Any routine can be a ritual. Yeah. Anything. Yeah. Yes. Cheers, you guys. I'm gonna try and get some heads in here too. I hit up Lemuria, Alchemy, and I'll hit up Richie again. I think he's busy at this exact moment in time. But we can just, it's been a while since we've had some homies on here. So let's start. You guys ready for the, you guys, first of all, do you guys know who Cerridwen is? This druidic Celtic goddess, knowledge and magic and mysticism. And our favorite things, cauldron, toil and trouble. This is our favorite. This is it. This is our bread and butter, so to speak. And I'm stoked to chant this fucking spell. All right, so let me. Hold on. I'm gonna read something to you guys first. The ancient art of power chant comes to us from the mystical lands of intellect. The secret of the power in chants is that they enable you to bypass your doubting mind and enables you to reach the miracle powerhouse within you, within your inner subconscious mind. You possess within these marvelous. First of all, there's a lot of information. We've talked about this before. Your subconscious mind, speaking of water, is kind of like water. It takes a lot of energy to heat water up, and water has to lose a lot of its energy to cool itself down. But as a result, it takes, you know what I mean. As a result, water will hold on to heat longer, and it will hold on to cold longer because because it's just the nature of water. Subconscious mind is a bit the same way. We can program it, but it takes repetition, and it's the job of our conscious mind, our ego mind, our masculine mind, whatever you want to call it, our acute awareness mind. It's the job of that to program the subconscious mind with repetition. Now, chance is a good way to do that, and as we just read, it says that it allows you to bypass your doubting mind, because when your subconscious mind hears a thing repetitively over and over and over again, that's the program. If the doubt over and over and over again, that's the program. It's kind of like meditating. If you just witness your breath over and over and over again and force out all of the thoughts, eventually you're going to calm down. There's no space for anything else but what you're focusing on. So that's the hack of chanting of mantras. So it would appear that we're going to ready to run this. Let's run this. Here's the chant. Apparently we got to read it 3 times. We're reading the chant 3 times. Ready? Omoris Cerridwen Kalami Carbonis Stut Moenia Charst Kalami Carbonis Stutorum Monia Charti one more time. Humoris Cerridwen. Kalami carbonis stultorum monia chast. Kalami carbonis stultorum monia chast. 3 times. We're going to let it in this time. Amoris Cerridwen. Kalami carbonis stultorum monia charti. Kalami carbonis stultorum monia charti. Maybe we'll do it 3 more times later on. I want to read up on the Celtic goddess or something. This goddess is known as being the White Witch, associated with herbology and astrology. Nice. This is the perfect one that we came across. The potion, because you're so, I'll show you. So apparently this goddess had a really ugly son. She wanted to help him. Used her magical powers to brew a potion in her cauldron to make him brilliant and wise. The potion had to brew for 1 year and a day to reach its full potency, adding the required herbs at the appropriate astrological times. Once it was ready, the boy would need to drink exactly 3 drops of the potion. To keep the potion mixed as needed, Cerridwen had her servant Gwion Bach stirring the potion during its brew time. On the last day, an unfortunate accident occurred. While he was stirring, 3 drops of the potion splashed out of the cauldron, scalding his thumb. He instinctively stuck his thumb in his mouth to cool it, thus consuming the droplets and gaining the wisdom and talent intended for her son. Oh, bummer. So the chant that we just did represents Cerridwen's significance, the need for change, that a transformation is at hand. It is time to examine what circumstances in your life no longer serve you. Something must die so that something new and better can be born. You can tap into her ceaseless energy to plant seeds of change and pursue their growth with your own power. Caleb, what's up, brother? Michael, hello. Quadruple sevens. Richie Breathe, how's it going, brother? How's it going, brother? Did you guys all catch it? I feel like when I started the chants, there was like 2 people in the room. Now there's 12. I hope you guys got it. Maybe we can. I'm going to answer your question, Eldriah Thomas. Chanting is not about worship. What? Could you be more specific with your question? That seems more like a statement than a question, or is it a question? 13 people in the room, my lucky number. Hell yes. Chanting can be about worship. It doesn't have to be about worship. Eljaya. Hey, don't worry. We're gonna repeat the chant. We're gonna repeat the chant. It was short and sweet. Maybe this time we can put on some Celtic background music from mynoise.net if I can find it in a reasonable time. So the audio coming through, you guys. I seem to have trouble with the audio sometimes, but hold on. Let's double check this. I got it dialed in as the goddess description. Oh, okay. Right. Get enlightened. We'll run it again. We got 9 people in the. What's vibrating? I keep feeling my desk vibrate. But my phone's not going off and nothing else is moving. Richie, I'm gonna shoot you a invite to the room. Also, just got a notification. What did you just send me? Richie? Oh, you found what? All right, nice. Okay, I'm gonna read this one more time. Irish Coast. Look at that. I don't think there's. I'm gonna read it for you guys. It's stick tight. All right, I'm gonna read it one more time for you guys. This one's titled Irish Coast. I don't know what makes it Irish necessarily. I was hoping for something subtle. Audio good? Ladies and gentlemen, this is we're bringing it back in. Chant, goddess of morbidity in the Cerridwen. Death, life, of course. Inspiration, magic, enchantment. Oh, one thing I fucking need more in my life right now. More in my life right now. Fucking the kind of enchantment that's. You know, you catch that vibe. Everything is different. It's like you're on a low dose of go and tickling at the edges. That's enchantment. But using magic, chanting, or spell, money, it's about listening a magical sense of existence to where you everything around you is like it's more alive than a magic, real, or substantial. But you don't want to know the world. That's what I'm. That's my personal desire. My first doesn't have to be yours. You guys pick. All right, mark down what you guys are hoping for. After I told you what this is associated with, it's also associated with herbology and astrology. You know what I mean? Got that heavy Sagittarius. My bad. We're gonna crank it down. I forgot that when sorry, Richie. I got my PR guy blowing me up about the audio levels. I forgot to adjust the volume when I opened up the browser. Better. Good. Got the magic. Oh no! Production. Let me read this, Richie. Then I'll shoot that invite. Thanks. As the dog comes in. All right, we've already decided that the dog is warding off the spirits. So anytime the dog is barking in the background, know that he's scaring the evil spirits away. My neighbor's dog is like the dogs that guard the circles in the emerald tablets. It says if you hear the hounds at the gate, turn to your right in circles. I have one of those ready. They're embarking that they're chasing off the spirit, they're chasing off the disembodied souls that are floating around. Right? Here we go. We're chanting the ancient chants. Cerridwen, Christ faith. Mores, Kalami Carbonus, Kalami Carbonus, Amoris Serit, Kalami Carbonus, Kalami Carbonus, Amoris Cerridwen, Kalami Carbonus, Chant. Amoris Cerridwen, Kalami Carbonus, Chant. Amoris Cerridwen, Kalami Carbonus, garbage. Magic. Consider the magic activated. You guys consider the magic activated. I hope that you guys take the time to see if I can shoot which wherever you're supposed to go. Oh no! That's it.
Bless.
I know I got the message that nothing's coming through.
Mind if I borrow the audio bubble?
Is it YouTube? Because you hear me now, right?
I can hear you now, but the squeak in the background cuts your voice out when you get too far from the mic.
Is that coming from the link that you sent me?
Yeah, that tone's too high. It cuts your voice out, bro.
And hold on. Something
Here. I'm just gonna borrow the audio bubble. Does that work?
Yeah, snatch it, dude. Snatch the audio. I'll just actually, how about this? I'm gonna end mine completely on my end, and then you can just run it from your end.
Got the birds. Some birds coming through the back.
Not yet. Phoenix, what up? Aljaya says that there's no noise period coming through. Is that happening? Oh, there's the birds. I hear them.
Nice, very good. Yeah, I'm still on the record back delay, so I'll build a soundscape around your voice, but I want to make sure that we keep you in front and center because those are the ones were just a little oppressive. My apologies about that.
Oh no, it's fine. I should have thought to like run it when I put up the new sound thing. Can you guys hear me? By the way, hello. Anyone? Last up message I got was from Aljaya saying that you couldn't hear me. Richie, everyone welcome Richie's now. Can they see you though? No, they can't.
Not yet. I'm getting the sound out and then I'll come. There we go.
Okay, Caleb.
Click.
Oh, all right. Wendy says she can hear me fine. Okay. Sweet. Sorry about that, you guys. We're having some audio interference, but we have the master of audio that just jumped on the
All
live.
right.
Wendy, hello. I'm glad
I'm
you
here.
made it. Glad you
Sweet.
made it, Wendy.
Bless. I'm out of the back. I made it in the front. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I tuned in late. You had the mantra or the chant at the beginning, and then you unpacked what the goddess was about. So I wonder if we can like set up a good coup de grace. I'll build some like bagpipes and some cool Irish noises in the back.
I thought about doing the bagpipes, but I was like, that's for sure gonna do some audio damage. Those bagpipes coming out. I didn't even want to try it. But if you got it, dude, I would love that.
I'll build it slow. No worries. No worries. I would keep an eye on the chat. No worries. I got that as well. But what is like? Can we get a new introduction for the people who may be joining us late?
New introduction for y'all joining in late. So introduction, I was just looking for some cool chants. I haven't done some chants or guided meditation stuff. Just someone else writing some magical things other than myself. And I came across a chant to the goddess Cerridwen, who's a druidic goddess of the Celtic Welsh pantheon, and the similarities between Thoth with mysticism, magic, and knowledge specifically, and astrology. I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is our girl, and so we're running it. Here we are running it. Started reading some stories about her. She had a beautiful daughter and a super ugly son, and she tried to make a special potion for her son to help out his wits to make up for how ugly he was. Had to brew a potion for a whole year and a day, but on the last day, the brewmaster, which wasn't her, spilled 3 drops on his finger, burned himself, put his thumb in his mouth instinctively, and took all the powers from the potion. And I didn't get to the part where the goddess goes to murder him after that.
Dang. All right. So now up to speed. I got a little bit of a sound background. Do you want to do the chant again so we can get it? Because I know beforehand it was hard to decipher.
Okay, yeah, we can totally do that.
Nice. And see, actually, before we go, let's see if we can get a confirmation from somebody who's not you or me that it sounds good. Because I think it sounds good, and I want to make sure our mic levels are good.
How's my mic sound? Because I was having so many weird issues with that condenser mic. So I'm using the mic actually that's built into my webcam, which last time I was told sounded super dope. So I was like, all right, I'll run it again.
Okay, yeah, it sounds good for sure. The pickup pattern I can tell is based because you're talking directly at it. And I think what I've seen you do with Blue, the Yeti, is sometimes you get kind of back here, maintaining your level, and then you're coming in right here. And so it's just either you got to have aggressive gain staging where you're turning up and down as you move in and out, or kind of catch that. But I think it sounds good. And we got a Phoenix 9 confirms it sounds good. Nice, we're solid. Please go ahead and take that. Gratitude.
We have a Scottish descent in the room. I actually have some Irish descent myself. So I feel you, Wendy. Are you guys ready for this? Wait, I want to get the people who are listening more involved. I'm going to here we go. Ooh, a shape-shifting goddess stuff. I'm gonna put a paragraph on this goddess in the chat room. Of course, it's over the limit. So that you guys can see her description. And I welcome you to find something that resonates and make a point. Don't just listen for the sake of listening. I'm sure that helps too. But like, which one resonates, and then apply it to your life somehow, and really focus on that particular thing coming to fruition. You know what I mean? So if it's, for example, I'm stoked that she's into herbology right now. Somehow anchor your excitedness for her herbology. Anchor that into yourself somehow with a specific project. Like I'm planting a garden, or harvest season's coming up. I harvested a whole bunch of corn. My sugar pumpkins are days away from being ready. You know what I mean? So like, I'm going to be going with her enchantment side, because I would like to be enchanted a little more, just to feel that magic. You know what I mean? Let's see, rebirth. So let's see, and then this. So go ahead and take a read on that knowledge or whatever.
All right, I'm going to do the interrupt thing real quick, just for the bless of everybody. Also, if you want a chance to get some water and kind of do a reboot. In Celtic wealth mythology, how are we pronouncing it? Cerridwen? Cerridwen?
That's how I'm pronouncing it. I don't know.
Cerridwen? Okay. In Celtic wealth mythology, Cerridwen is a powerful underworld goddess and the keeper of the cauldron of knowledge, inspiration, and rebirth. She rules the realms of death, fertility, regeneration, inspiration, magic, enchantment, and knowledge. Cerridwen is a shape-shifting goddess able to take on various forms. She is known as being a white witch or goddess and is also associated with herbology and astrology. Cheers.
Thank you for that. I like it. I like
That's
you have
glad.
a mixture of vocals too. It's like it's like a show.
Great.
Cool, Richie. So which are you picking? Is there anything in particular where you're like, oh, that's pretty dope?
I'm still sort of personifying. I have my own personal practice of deity. So I kind of got to build around and figure out the smells and the vibes. I got to change the soundscape a little bit because I got more information. So I'm going to keep on noodling, but I'm good. I'm good.
Nice, and your backdrop already fit.
Yeah, techno druid by default.
And someone, you said something to me earlier, and then when I read your text, I got a notification for this girl that liked a photo, and I checked out her Instagram page, and she's like druid, and I was like, oh, what up? And I was like, the druid power's coming in strong right now. I got the techno druid, and then I got the other druids from around the world, like
You're on the path, living the bardic walk.
chomping at the bit, as you would say. All right, we're doing this. So the chant I'm taking looks like we're saying Amoris Cerridwen. I wonder what Amoris is like love, but I doubt that's the same in Welsh, right? Or maybe it is. All right, who knows? So we're repeating 2 lines after saying the goddess's name in case you guys. I'll write the text down too so you guys can see it. Ooh, Wendy Blue. Sexy color reminds me of TLC. Okay, and I'll make sure to lean into the mic, you guys. Here we go. Amoris Cerridwen, Calami Carbonis Stultorum Monia Charti. Calami Carbonis Stultorum Monia Charti. Amoris Cerridwen, Calami Carbonis Stultorum Monia Charti. Calami Carbonis Stultorum Monia Charti. Amoris Cerridwen, Calami Carbonis Stultorum Monia Charti. Calami Carbonis Stultorum Monia Charti. Done.
Mm-hmm.
The birds were a nice touch, man.
Bless.
The birds were a nice touch.
Dialing it in, feeling the vibe. So if you were to make an offering to Cerridwen, what would your offering be?
I had already decided it was going to be the tobacco that I'm smoking right now.
Wonderful. Nice.
Yeah. Specifically a cigar from Cuba.
Very good. Then, similarly so, tobacco.
The tobacco as well. Nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Keep it out and active for this session.
Nice. That's cool. Do you normally have tobacco offerings on deck?
It's part of the toolkit. The Imagine on vibes run deep for sure.
Nice. That's dope.
Never know when you're gonna need those things.
I know. Do you happen to know what kind it is? Did you grow it? Did one of the squad grow it?
I did not grow it. It was acquired by one of the interdimensional research team members, and it came from Virginia. It's organically grown with no pesticides or any of the funky stuff. So it's a very wonderful specimen and example of the grandfather spirit that's imbued within that kind of plant knowledge, or grandparent spirit, not to be biased.
Why? I mean, I feel like some plants would lean more masculine. I wouldn't necessarily opposed to calling something grandmother spirit, for example.
For sure. I think in the levels of balance, I'm still running on gender quaternary. I got male, female, both in neither. So I try to like make sure to wrangle those in. Yeah, because I've been picking up a bunch of stuff like Atlanteans apparently were the first split, but Lumerians were self-replicating. Like Lumerians just like, cool, I want another me, and they'd make a second them, and then they would just like clone sideways. Rather than Atlantean.
That's the Lumerian thing?
That's what I'm researching. I'm trying to figure more out about this. But then the Atlanteans were the first that had the dynamic polarity to be able to create, all right, cool, we want to like continue through time, but we have to merge these timelines and create a new us and then have this new self move forward. So I see some of the plants as ways that we can communicate that energy. And if you have a bunch of cinnamon for breakfast, you're going to have a different day versus if you don't, you know what I mean? And cinnamon was one of the early entheogenic plants, as well as different sages or different kinds of tobaccos or burnt plants.
Burnt plants. Interesting. All right, that's the first time I've come across. Are you, because you're talking to Lemuria, who goes by Lemuria on the channel? Are you having conversations with him about this?
No, I know he did a podcast about it lately on the Heretic podcast. He did an episode that and one of my homies on. I haven't got a chance to dial into it yet, but I'm doing my own independent deep dig research because I want to have more context of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a very good idea. MCQ, let's go. Hey, a wizard is never late or early. MCQ. He arrives precisely when he means to. The language, Wendy. I didn't verify. I'm assuming it's ancient Welsh or at least modern Welsh, but it sure does sound stultorum. Sure sounds Latin, doesn't it? Let's find out. I type it in and it says Dark Spellbook, Ancient Chant to Cerridwen.
You said she's under.
There it is. That was after the chant. That was a party music in the woods after the chant music. Is what I think you just said right now.
Yeah, it's still a little too pleasant though.
A little too what?
A little too pleasant, I think. Just a little too happy dappy. We're getting into like more somber. We're getting into autumn soon. We're getting into that late vibe.
I know, and I'm appreciating it. I have a whole basket full of corn right now. That's just. I'm gonna make my own cornmeal this time. I've never done that before.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
I know. I'm stoked.
On a guess, I might peg the language as Gaelic.
That's right. That's the name. Gaelic, right? And Gaelic is
the druidic, Celtic, old Irish tongue, and Aboriginal, right?
Yeah. Gaelic. Nice. I met this guy who's super into the culture, who bought frankincense seeds off of me, and he's just been. We message each other like weekly for the past year, and he goes. I showed him the flute, and he showed me like 12 flutes that he had, and I said, "Oh shit, you're on the flute game too." Sends me a video of him playing the bagpipes phenomenally well.
Wow.
Like, what, dude? Just pulled that shit out. It was amazing.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So dang, the hustle's going well, kicking the plants through the Etsy.
Etsy's been slow.
Okay, we'll make sure to plug that Etsy right now then.
Oh yeah, there you go. You guys that have an Etsy shop. Fall's coming. We make all our own beeswax candles. Here's one of them burning now. Pyramid candles. They're beeswax. They burn super beautiful. They burn hot, so they burn brighter. Which means you gotta be careful with them. But what else we got? Plants. I have frankincense trees. I got Mexican copal trees. I have resin kits for meditation that are super dope.
Link in the chat.
Oh yeah, link is in the chat. And, man, autumn's perfect. I have some cool ideas for videos I want to post in October of songs but like the song lyrics in spoken word form with spooky music behind it, or like kind of like that dark Halloween feel, and kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas style. And I'm stoked, super stoked, and throw some like emerald tablets. Basically, do everything I do with the lens of the spooky Halloween time spoken word style.
Superb.
Yeah. You don't think it's yeah? I didn't think it was lightning already. Thanks for chiming in. Um, yeah, man. So what else you been up to? Just how you're surviving? Living?
Crazy things, all sorts of it. Like I'm trying to stay on topic right now, stay on task
Oh
because we
yeah,
got
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
video with the title. So I've got tons of things going on in my little world. But right now, just super chill, stoked to be hanging out with the squad in this space now.
Yeah, man. It's exciting, Phoenix. It is. So what's it? You got so Richie. Could you hit us with? And it doesn't even have to be the exact one, but like you call yourself a techno druid. It's in the title. It's on par with the conversation. Give us a spiel, man. Give us like what's
Mm,
druidity to you? Is it still relevant to pantheon chanting that we're doing now, or like what's
for
good?
sure. I mean, I guess in the early wait, I'd kind of want to kick that back and see how your Iron Druid studies are going.
Oh man, they were up until about the past 3 weeks or month or so, they were going strong. They're still going good,
Yeah.
but I'm so what Richie's talking about. I was reading this Iron Druid series. Um, the plot is a 2,000-year-old druid who casts magical earth spells discovers how to live forever by drinking certain potions, and he fights bad guys, fights gods of all the different pantheons of all different cultures. But it's been super enlightening for me because the way that the author described how he does his magic is like he does a sort of Neo in the Matrix where Neo sees the ones and zeros overlaid reality. He sees the bands of energy that are overlaying reality, and he gets those bands and I forgot the word that they use, but he basically he binds the energies of plants, of the earth, of rocks, of minerals that he sees in the etheric realm, and he binds them to the physical realm to do magical shit. And so I've been doing cool stuff like that in my garden where I'm trying to use my imagination to tether, to see the corn stalk as this little energy body and pulling the energy body of the corn stalk around the soil so we can access nutrients better, etc. And man, they were going good, Richie. To answer your question, I had my feet. I would kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
cover my feet in the dirt in the chair, and I would meditate for a good 10, 15, and then I'd start sort of my energy work. And I swear that all the corn that were closest to my chair were growing taller. They were greener, darker, lusher, and healthier than all the other corn in the patch. Anecdotal, of course,
Mm,
but
mm.
it was.
Next time doing photographs, because I bet there's some proof to that personally.
I know, yeah, that's what my girl was telling me. She's like, you should have documented it. Like it looks so dope. I'll do it next time. Um, I messed up because you're not supposed to transplant corn, and I didn't know that. I started them in starters and then put them outside, and corn hates that shit.
Right. It's a grass. It needs right consistency.
So I didn't know
It's
that.
cool, bro. And the matter of rolling forward is to know that if Mother Nature figured that out, she wouldn't hold a grudge against herself for not knowing it in the future to begin with. So I'm super hyped, man.
Sorry, Mama Earth. I got you though. I got you. Next time.
Bless,
Besides
bless.
tobacco, could the offering be anything? Jaya asks. I wouldn't say anything. It helps if there's like a, you know what I mean, a corresponding element energetically speaking. Like she's a super earthy enchanting goddess. It wouldn't make sense to offer fire to an earth goddess, especially if she's all about plants. Plants don't really like fire too much. So it would I, corresponding, but I'm sure something's better than nothing. I think maybe not. I don't know. But
Says the man who offered her fire.
as a man who offered her fire.
Bless,
Um,
bless, bless. I think it's a matter of the nature of the offering, because I
yes,
think any offering can be made, and like no data is bad data to somebody who knows how to use data. And
true.
we're talking about a high level goddess of the underworld. So I'm sure she will happily accept any offering at all. The more thematic, the better. So, like, definitely seems to be something appropriately connected to maybe the darker side of things.
Goddess of underworld, yeah, for sure. Funny because there's a huge stigma against tobacco. And
Fair. I think some of that stigma is actually, unfortunately, the stigma that we should have against meat. Because we've taken tobacco and we've really dastardized it. We haven't treated it kindly as a plant. We grow it under really aggressive conditions. We use a lot of machines that are processing it all the time. We package it and lock it away in cases and boxes and charge people exorbitant amounts of money about it so they fiend when they don't have it, rather than letting it naturally grow in the abundance and treat it like the thing that we can utilize as a peaceful cooperative tool.
yes. I mean, the stashing part, I don't mind. Like I stash, I mean, that's boxing and stashing is like curing,
For sure. And I think there's a line between curing and stockpiling.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
wonder,
well, yeah.
right.
Stock,
I wonder if America's spirit stockpiles tobacco. Right.
That's what you're getting at. Got it. Copy. I guess that leads to Kevin Anthony's question: is the species of tobacco? I have not the slightest clue. It comes from Havana, and Havana is in the Caribbean, so it's definitely a super, super tropical species of tobacco. And hand rolled, so the machines were out of it. Probably it's small batch, but it's still Cuba, so I doubt it's organic. Um, I highly doubt it's organic, but it's a tropics. Yeah, I've been doing some studies on tobacco, man, recently. There's thousands of species of tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
So some smell like raisins, some smell like nothing, some smell like blueberries, and it's just like, what? I'm growing some ghost. It hasn't bloomed yet, but it has a beautiful white bloom. They're called ghost pipes tobacco, and
Nice.
apparently they release a fragrance at night, and it smells super sweet. And they apparently they almost quote unquote glow in the moonlight. They haven't bloomed yet, but I'm super excited about this.
Stoked. Took a bit of a change. Brought him some other sounds.
Oh yeah. What are I'm not a tobacco expert at all, Kevin. I'm Anthony. The best tobacco species, depending on the best for growing. Obviously, you want to get one that's best for your area. The best for smoking. The um, tobacco nicotiniana, which is the native tobacco with the yellow flower, it's 9% THC, 9% nicotine, whereas the commercial tobaccos are around 3% nicotine. So the heirloom stuff is super potent. It's super strong on the nicotine side. Um, so yeah, I guess it depends on what you're looking for, Kevin, as far as the best tobacco species. Spring water's perfect, Aljaya. Yeah, damn, spring water's is perfect. Yeah, that's a good offering. What was that?
Yep. Nice. Just jumping backwards in time into the streamland to make sure that our audio level's up.
I thought I heard a man suffering or a cow. I wasn't sure.
It was a cow.
It was a cow.
Yeah, it's a cow. There's no man suffering right now. That's not one. There's creepy sounds for sure, but there's no. We've got elven harps and haunted woods, and we have work to do, research with the Winchesters, and peaceful ambient sounds.
The Winchesters, as in Supernatural?
Yeah. I found a soundtrack from them. It's got like...
Whoa.
Yeah, here, I'll turn it up. I'll turn off the other ones. Riding. Got a guy coughing in the background. Got some footsteps. Got some sharpening of the knife.
That's funny. That's super cool. They should put a opening of a beer bottle.
Okay, see, so these are all soundtracks, and I'm running all these separate, and then I'm figuring out how to get a trigger so I can like panel and pop and drop sounds in. But those I don't have an overhead clearance of, like they're gonna come in at full sound.
Yeah.
These ones, like that typing, that writing, that's too much after a minute. So you got to find the things to like bring them back. But all right, That's enough for that. I'm gonna bring the rest of the scene down. Get back to work. Sorry, got totally distracted by the fact that we're building a dimension here. So there we go. Everything fills back in.
DX9. It's funny. I've been watching Supernatural these past week. I'm trying my best to get my girl on it. She's like, "There's 18 seasons," and I'm saying, "That's great. That means we have tons of material. I don't care if it takes us 4 years. Like, let's start it." So we started it. And
Nice.
time too and stuff.
Very sweet. There's the knife in the background.
Oh God, there you go. That's awesome. Well, yeah, dude, the Iron Druid stuff's been going good, and
Ooh. So I want to answer this question because the howl is nice. And yeah, I like it when people have good questions. Do you see the question that dropped in the chat by Wendy Blue?
Wendy Blue, Alchemy, what up?
Bless up, Alchemy.
When you get a chance to answer, what is the correlation between Cerridwen and Hades? Did you say you wanted to knock that out, Richie? Is that what you were?
I just wanted to bring, I mean, I'll totally, absolutely have some kind of conversation about the deities of the underworld, absolutely. But I didn't know if you saw any immediate correlations based on the information available.
Oh, the underworld thing, 100%.
Okay, so
yeah, they're both. The thing is I don't know. I just discovered Cerridwen, so I mean I couldn't. We summoned anybody? Yeah, we summoned Alchemy. He has arrived. Cerridwen, or Cerridwen, because I saw it spelled with a K actually right now, and I was looking it up, so maybe it could be Cerridwen. They do have the hard consonants in Gaelic, right?
Hard and soft.
Cerridwen.
The goddess of inspiration.
Inspiration. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I couldn't really outside of the underworld thing. I couldn't give you too many correlations.
There, I think the cauldron idea is an important one because that not only leads towards a kind of prophetic action, but that's also the sort of blending and alchemical combination. Hades isn't really so much of a crafter in that way, as far as I know. Not trying to get on anybody's bad side, but the Greek pantheon's got a lot of bro stuff they're trying to work out. So I think it's really Hades and Zeus kind of took some weird beef, and then Persephone got in the mix, and then everything went haywire. I think if Cerridwen had opportunity, she would side with Persephone and tank both those bros. But
yeah,
I guess the name derives from Ceru, which is the Celtic word for cauldron.
I was about to say, when I read that cauldron thing, I'm pretty sure I've come across this goddess before, and she is basically the goddess that made the cauldron popular. The witch, right. The witch in her giant black rounded cauldron, I'm pretty sure was made famous by this goddess. Oh, wow. If my memory serves me proper.
So in Zoom chat, I sent you a proper pronunciation. This is what it looks like from this source.
That's Discord. Zoom chat. That's right.
Yep. There's a cow in the background. Sorry about that.
Cerridwen.
Yeah.
Got the hard K, guys. Cerridwen.
There's something to work with. I'll just front load you with some data real quick.
Hopefully she's not too upset with me for pronouncing her name wrong.
It's all love.
It's all love.
Oh, wow. This is a really nice picture, actually.
Are you sending me stuff?
Yep. In the chat as well, for sure. Sent it all there. I can do a screen share, maybe. Like, cut off the audio.
Yeah, see, she's got that cauldron.
And putting things into it, participating with it, not like looking back and being like, yes, it will do all the work for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what actually struck me quite strongly when I was reading that bio on her, or that story, was that when she was making her brew, that it took the course, that it had to be brewing for a year, and that she had to add the ingredients according to astrological times throughout the year. And I thought, damn, that's some quite powerful Jesus juice to be brewing it for a year and to be that particular with adding the ingredients to celestial movements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how cool it would be to do that, to replicate it somehow.
I think it's an interesting kind of concept because it's preliminarily discussed as her power comes from sorcery.
Awen. Why does that sound familiar? Awen. Where's it? Is that in Avatar? Is that the god of Avatar? Awen?
Eowyn is Welsh, Cornish, and Breton word for inspiration. It's the deity of poets and bards. I'm sure it's in a lot of things.
Yeah, fair.
The note that I'm thinking of specifically is the sorcery component versus wizardry or versus a kind of educational magical school. Because the components, even if it's not dragonborn, sorcery is something that's innate. It comes from within. It's a kind of magic of the wild or primal chaos that is then harnessed and utilized. Whereas wizardry is like, all the books from the library gave me the power to cast magic missile. Like, that's a different way to educate oneself versus like a shamanic lineage or a master apprenticeship teaching. So the fact that Cerridwen is already connected with the sorcery aspect, as well as the shifter, as well as the concept of handing someone a magical brew, because that only archetypally happens a certain amount of times in certain ways. You just don't have all of the deities giving all of the humans different drinks for various things. It's not very commonly done.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a connection to the crone, trying to find that crone's shadow emerging from the fact that there's some rigid beliefs that we have and we can kind of relax into it and know that we aren't old and completely rigid and fixed yet. Or even if we are old, embracing that shapeshifter and knowing that we can kind of turn ourselves into who we want to be within the range of our wisdom processing. Useful?
Kind of. You lost me at the end there. I wanted to go back to
On it.
the sorcery, wizardry, and witchy kind of distinguish because that
Yeah.
was that
Witchcraft,
was
sorcery, wizardry, for sure.
yeah. So you're saying like she's got there's different ways of magic, quote unquote, and she's got all of them. Is that what you're finding noteworthy? She's doing the books with the knowledge cast. She's harnessing the elementals, and she's doing the potion thing.
Right. I think the nature of it is that she's claimed, as far as I can tell from this preliminary research, as a sorceress, one of the first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that would be sort of a pioneering into that self-creative space. Got some etymology. Hey, here we go.
No, I'm reading the etymology too.
Nice. Cerridwen. Gotta have etymology for people who don't have the screen though. Cerd and Wen, or Caird and Wen. Wen likely means woman. Originally derived from Gwen, interpreted as fair or blessed. And Cerid or Carid can be translated as bent or crooked, potentially meaning poetry or song. So woman song or blessed poetry, roughly, could be a translation. There you go. Yep.
Here we go, y'all. The etymology of Cerridwen. Whoa. We're celebrating over here.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fireworks for someone's backyard. A powerful Welsh sorceress and one of the most powerful witches in Celtic mythology. Yeah, so she's got the mother, she's got the crone, poetic wisdom, and there's that bard magic. See, I knew she was calling to me for some reason. Inspiration, prophecy, collectively A1. See, so she's got a magical cauldron. So is her magic coming, or is her magic brews coming from her, or her magic cauldron? Oh, okay. Well, the next sentence. She has many of these abilities herself without the cauldron's power. She also has a magical throne, sovereignty, from which she derives. So she's got all kinds. She's magical as hell and surrounded by magical objects. She's living the life. Changing appearances, shape shifts. Her potions grant gifts but are dangerous, as I feel all magical things are.
All magical things worth anything are.
That's true. More friend. You well, like I was asking you earlier, so you call yourself a techno druid. How much of the old druid stuff do you tie in with it, or do you make it a point to, or is it, you know what I mean, or is it all the shift, or what, you know what I mean?
I'm hearing you. I'm just being a polite listener and making sure that you get to wrap up the end of your sentence with a syntax that makes it a question so we can continue a dialogue rather than just kind of throwing random thoughts back and forth. So for sure, I think I was really inspired by the Kevin Hearn books, the Iron Druid series. I don't think I've even gotten through all of them. I knew I read a couple of them and it was like, that's a new way to look at druidry, because I remember researching a lot of different kinds of earth magic and Wicca and high magic and low magic and trying to find the different natures and different differences in all of these systems. And then I started to look at, well, let's see, I got a really cool book called Web Mage that I'm going through, which is like a son or like one of the grandchildren of the Titans, is like related to Fates. And so he's like a multi-dimensional reality magic cracker. And so he has like his telephone or laptop transforms into like a troll or a goblin. And then this like familiar helps him like jump through systems, and like Zeus has like his own server farm, and like Hades has like a really strong firewall, which is Cerberus, the three-headed dog. And like all of the mythos is really neat because it weaves in ley lines and like magic web lines and how we use the internet in this way. But I found that all of our file systems, all of our computer boxes, these all have trees in them. They have file trees in them. So just like the earth makes trees and the earth grows its own forests, we have file folders and file forests inside of our computers. And when we choose to organize these things, and I'm going to take this file folder and send it to that friend of mine who's going to get this message or this file, or I'm going to send this to my boss, and then they're going to print it out and it's going to be a document. Like all of that is us just using a really finely tuned and refined type of energy awareness, which contextually can be referred to as a magical sense. And it's beneficial for thought form exercises to parallel it rather than perpendicular to other magical paths. So it can run in linearity to have a conversation using all of them, rather than saying this is techno druid versus virtual mage versus digi voodoo versus, like, no, they're all together. It's all one big amorphous.
Yeah. Fair. I guess
Run it.
the fact that you called yourself the techno druid.
Oh man, I got a shirt. I made a shirt. You want shirts? I'll post the link in the chat. Yeah.
Yes, run it. Yeah. But the more specifically was, it's noteworthy that you call yourself specifically a techno druid. So my thought was, all right, what does a techno druid practice look like as specific compared to web mage? You know what I mean? Like,
For
how
sure,
have you? 'Cause I
absolutely.
feel like you're gonna start shaping it in your own way with all your experiences and
Absolutely.
understandings of the world. You know.
For sure. So there's the Techno Druid bonfire link in the YouTube chat for people who want to check it out. And I'm not the first Techno Druid. There are other people who've used the term. It's something that's kind of connected through. I took the design in the shirt and built a bunch of patterns and symbols together because I think it's important to continue sharing ideas. But to me, the level of a druid would be like the Lorax. And the Lorax is speaking for the trees that don't have a voice or don't have tongues, I think is how it goes. And so the techno druid would be one who is acting as a sort of representative between the ghosts and the machine. All these sprites and all these bits and things, they have glitchcraft involved with them. There's a kind of magicware that has the really meaningful files on your USB drive that you keep that's intention soft. Like there's all these new terms that we're beginning to explore in our brain. And so I'm finding ways personally to continue to finesse the language as well as create lasting and usually pioneering human interactions with individuals, because that allows us to challenge and change the reality that we're in directly.
Yeah.
Does this answer your question even vaguely, or am I just like?
It answers it. But for a second there, it sounded like you were saying that there are actual spirits living inside of the internet that you were helping, that you were helping along the way. I don't think that's what you were getting at, but I was like, whoa, just because you said you're the Lorax, but you were talking about the internet. So I'm like,
I'm not disagreeing with you on any of these points, even the things
like,
that you
wait,
said you imagined. Yep.
So do you think that? Is that what you're saying?
For real?
Oh shit. That's tough. I don't. Now that it's positioned that way, I don't see why not. Spirits inhabit every fucking other aspect of existence. Why not?
Right. Like, you ever taken your laptop or like your phone into the woods or the forest to like send an email or to do some work or to do something like that? You ever had a camera out in nature and been able to enjoy the embrace of technology and the kind of chaotic primal force? Because we are nature. We can't really deny that. We came from Earth. We're built of Earth. We're just like the pioneering Earth. And so moving forward in the pioneering sense, It's how do we continue to create lasting relationships? Because, for example, this mobile device, if I have this and it breaks, okay, well, that sucks. I mean, a lot of the information is actually on the cloud. It's not really on it anymore. So it's actually in this nebulous cloud Nimbus dimension, which I can get if I have the right email because it's really somebody else's server. But like 2 or 3 more months and this thing's fully paid off, and then this is mine, and this is mine, kind of like this one. And I use these guys for different purposes. This one has Instagram on it, but this one doesn't, because this one has real information like where I am, and I don't want Instagram to know that. So being able to separate these digital devices, 2 or 3 or 4, however you do it, got to build an awareness of the electricity that we tricked the rocks into carrying for us, because that's all the phone is doing right now. That's all the laptop is doing right now. We have a rock and we tricked it into thinking.
We did, dude.
And so now this laptop is thinking that we're using it instead of using telepathy and the camera and the light and all this stuff and all the viewers and all the listeners and all the speakers. Like, we're just fooling ourselves. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we wouldn't have the cognitive capacity to be able to handle this kind of information. So self-demonstrated by the fact that we can cognize it means that we're not dependent on the platform. Kind of like first time somebody went skiing, they were like, man, I can make better fucking skis. And so they made better skis. And then they made better. And then eventually
skiing, they're at least skiing.
Right. And then they're snowboarding. And then they're sled dogging. And then they're snowmobiling. Yeah. And then they're squirrel suiting. You know what I mean? And they're completely off. And it just continues to transcend that kind of behavior. So now we're looking at multidimensional approaches to information gathering and philosophy application, of which I think deity awareness is an important part of.
Deity awareness is an important part of. Are you still? Ooh, yeah.
Deities.
I've been.
Yeah, here, real quick. This deity. That's Pan. That's Pan.
I can't see it very well. Can you put it a little closer?
Oh man, all right.
I see the outline of it, but
I really hate doing this. All right, you guys are gonna see behind the curtain. You don't want to. Okay. I'm just a normal person. Right. Anyway.
Right. Wait, you're not in the forest?
Above Nikola Tesla. Oh, come on. Is the thingy work? It's just golden sparkle.
Right there. Okay. It's a body. It's a figure.
It's a fawn.
It's a fawn. Of course it's a fawn. Nice.
It's Pan.
I was gonna say, is it Pan? Does he have a flute? Is he playing a flute?
He is.
Nice. Oh yeah, I see the head now. Dope. Super dope. Oh. That's cool.
So deities are important. Deities are like archetypes. You try to have a good story without archetypes. You crazy? You try to have a good life without deities. You crazy? Even if you only have one deity who's like granddaddy sky god deity that says no other deities. Like, okay, punish me, daddy, I guess. Like
that's what it is too, dude. That's what fucking exactly how it is. It's funny. Nice. I have my candle holder. Dude, in that case, I've been deitizing Anubis hard on this channel for a couple years now. He's been holding it down. And I got some Thoth candle holders because I was like, I like Thoth more. I do the Emerald Tablet thing. And they didn't hit. I lit them and I burned them and I stared at them and I had them on camera and they just don't hit like the Anubis ones do. Somehow Anubis.
So I'm going to backtrace that real quick and talk about the underworld and its relationship to fire. And then Thoth, and then his relationship to fire. Different. Right? So that means that we got like, you can make like a Thoth planter. You can make like a thing where that grows and then Thoth is with the tree that grows, like a Thoth fountain. You know what I mean? Like he has a bucket that pours water out or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But Thoth seems to have the fire that's like this is the truth, and Anubis has a fire where he's like, we're transporting you to the underworld. It's dark as fuck down here.
Yeah, I think it's the relationships to the elements, definitely. Because Thoth's representation or Thoth's relationship to light and to bright and to fire, as far as I understand, is more of a luminary, or the kind of way shower, and they're illuminating that which is in darkness in a new light. Whereas like Anubis is not trying to illuminate anything, actually. Usually the inverse is trying to extinguish the light. So
yeah, but give me a second. I'm gonna go over to the alchemy. I'm about to. Do you have access to? Never mind. It's right in front of my face. I'm about to. No pressure. Alchemy. No pressure. Here, click on that alchemy.
No pressure. Do this thing.
If you're free, click on it.
Super stoked, by the way, to get all of the whatnots dialed in because we got like only one more month. Oh, you sent it to general chat. Anybody can come in. This will be fun.
No, I have to accept them. This should be fun.
But we got like one more day of August. Hooray! Oh yeah, everybody who's here, please take a breath and drink some water.
Oh yeah, I steeped some hibiscus petals.
Nice.
Let's see. It's an energy system, of course. There are habitats. Oh, Wendy, I'm assuming that's a comment on spirits living in the machine and specifically of the machine, as what I wanted to mention earlier. So I think sort of Tron-like, you could put a consciousness in the machine. Though, is it the original consciousness or a copy of it? I don't know, different discussion.
I wonder if the machine could exist without consciousness or if the golem is pre-imbued.
Let's say it again.
Like, I wonder if you can make a machine without consciousness. Like, can you make a shovel that doesn't have its own shovelness? Or
No.
would like you have to make, and then it would like the spirit of the shovel would then imbue it. You know what I mean? So like, does all the components of the computer have spirit, and then when they're all fully formed, then they have the complex mastery? Or
it's dependent on the complexity of the machine. I would say is dependent on the complexity of the consciousness.
Right. So when that made like what, you got 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people running around with a smart calculator. The T85 was like the most advanced thing, and now we're rolling around with like 64-bit dual quad core with 8 cameras and a location sensor and like 3D printer on your phone. What the heck? Like,
I know. But yeah, dude. Yeah, I like that idea that you gave to me of spirits existing in and of the web.
Ghost in a machine is a common thing. Philip K. Dick wrote about it a lot, PKD, with the laws of robotics and sort of how a machine could become self-aware. And if you like started to delete random segments of code, could the machine get threatened and try to preserve itself? Or like, could there be a survival response?
Shit.
Right. I've been dubbed by some friends the Digi-Cleric. So as a Digi-Cleric, I just kind of show up and jump between worlds and try to boost and buff and take care of all my squad. But in order for that to happen, I kind of have patron deities. I have to have like server systems and admin rights because I can't be a Digi-Cleric for everybody. That's a losing game.
Yeah.
So it's really finding out like part of it is resonance and part of it is dissonance. I really enjoy the chaos. I think it's great, but like you have to have a container for the chaos. Otherwise it's just infinite unbridled chaos, which is maybe not so great.
Which is terrifying. Richie didn't, but we got you see popped in the video, right? Someone took the bait.
Tech deities.
Hello. Tech deities could move desires faster.
I don't know if faster, maybe. How are we talking about time? I mean, yes and no and maybe. That's my solid answer. Yes and no and maybe.
I know. Welcome to my world of vanishing questions on lives. It's like, you're not going to like my answer. Yes, no, maybe.
No, if anything, the answer is going to bring more questions. Bless.
Well, I guess you could give a specific example on how it would move it faster, how it would move it
for sure. I mean, if a deity is being given an offering where you have to cross hundreds of miles to go to the temple to burn some incense or to make some offering, versus if you could just load up the deity on your phone and put the phone and the deity in your temple room and like do a little offering in front of it, you know what I mean? Like that's definitely an expeditious form of manifesting your desire.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go, LJ. Good question though. I'm curious of like you call it a tech deity, but why would you call it a tech deity and not a tech entity?
Because the line between entityship and deityship would be the preliminary division that separates you from Neptune.
Correct, but the thing that separates me from Neptune is like this.
Is it though, or is it just your illusion of that?
In this realm, 100%. I'm able to have a physical fucking change on my immediate world. Neptune, you know what I mean? If I were Neptune, I mean, big macro, I get what you're saying. Micro, I'm keep.
For sure. I think the concept also has to do with maybe exploring the idea of a simple or a complex deity. This isn't to like put down or to like make any judgment statements, but we also have to use the range of high magic and low magic. Because low magic would be hedge witchery and certain kinds of herbalism, certain kinds of spellcraft or hexing. But then if you're getting into advanced rituals and spells of a certain level or complexity or tolerance, that actually turns into a high form of ceremonial magic, which requires a totally different level of mental gumption and gusto.
Copy. And so that's what you're applying to the world.
Right. So it would be maybe that you can go to like... trying to pick it. What deity do I want to pull out of thin air to kind of juggle around for an idea? You could go to like Bacchus.net, right? You could go to Bacchus.net and then you would like have the Bacchanalian energy just always on tap. But the thing is, when you close the tab or the browser or even turn off the machine, Bacchus.net still exists out there in the infinite.
Correct.
So in the same way that all of the infinities continue to exist in our multidimensional experience, to express a discipline or to choose a deity to work with or do deity yoga or deity worship or deity praise or whatever words you want to use, that's to begin to tune in your system and to begin to choose intentionally, okay, this archetype for this thing is what I'm choosing to do. And yeah, from the chat, definitely the energy sources that are in crystals and in metals, all these have to do. If it wasn't copper and gold and crystal and ruby, we wouldn't have lasers, we wouldn't have infrared, we wouldn't have all of our cell phones. So the energy sources are always exactly perfect because we're operating on a liminal time-space reality where we see things in hours and minutes and then experiences and relativity. Like for us, temporality matters. What happens at the beginning, in the middle, and the end, we perceive through time, so that's important to us. But on the realm and scale of deities, nope, temporality doesn't matter. You could be the absolute arbiter and personification of Bastet, the cat-headed female god of the Egyptian lineage. But that could only happen in the last 2 or 3 minutes of your life. And the energy of Bastet would be indifferent and treat you as though you were an archon of that energy your whole life. Because you'd kind of be carrying that frequency. That's starseed would be another way to look at it. If we look at the star systems as deities and gods, and if we looked at all these extra dimensional angelic consciousnesses as things we can measure, then we push into that conversation. Because really we're just using vernacular to point at experiences. But the word blueberry doesn't actually mean blueberry. It just means in language this noun that represents this experience.
That represents a thing. Yeah.
Facts. This work? Did I make it back? And we're in one piece?
Yeah, it does. I was asking because I was starting to imagine an entire world of spirits, ghosts in the machine, and the hierarchy of the ghosts in the machine, and different types of the and it was like you called them deities, and I'm like, I'm sure there are deities, but there's got to be a whole slew of
facts.
Of, and ceremonial rituals versus your fucking,
Totally. There's even some lineages that are connected to the idea of hungry ghosts. And so hungry ghost would be like a lower dimension. And a hungry ghost is like a form or a being that has a mouth that's really small, but a stomach that's really big.
Oh,
so right. So it's always trying to, and it's never going to. And that's according to some Tibetan Buddhist texts and other tantric texts. That's where the souls are kept as sort of a holding pen. That's the lower range. That's where you have to kind of go through enough incarnations to gather enough karma, to do enough merit, or to just be quantumly in the right loop, depending on what lineage you're from, to be able to break through to the next one. And the next ones would be ranges of conscious experience. So the next life could be your life as a quartz crystal, or your life as a tourmaline, or your life as a oak tree, or your life as a seaweed, or your life as a starfish, or your life as a peregrine falcon, or your life as an elephant, or your life as a
turtle.
Turtle, right? Homo sapien fictionalis, right? We're totally fiction stories. Homo sapien fictionalis, I think is what I heard, because we're like a living narrative. So when you decide to become something larger than yourself, if you decide to be a member of a family, if you decide to represent part of a company or a neighborhood, if you decide to create a larger legacy, then what you're actually doing is you're pulling all of that energy and you're forming it up. And in the same way that you can like copy and paste a mantra and a chant, and that would kind of do the same thing, it would be the same thing over and over again. So like sampled music, like EDM music. After 3 hours, if that unta has the same intensity, it's going to be boring. So every other beat,
45 minutes.
After 2 bars, if you're good at audio engineering, you're like, hey man, that's the same bell. You dang it twice. There needs to be a new bell sample in there.
Like,
otherwise,
hey,
what are we
man.
doing? But
Richie's
tape loops
just in the back, like, turn it off.
Just saying, like, so audio engineering came a long way because like wax cylinders is where it started, bro. We take your candles, the candles you're making now. We take a pen and we go, ah! We carve in the side of it all the way through. We put it on the machine. The machine go, what the fuck are you carving into my candle for, Richie? This is the worst way to record audio ever. Oh my gosh. Like, then it got flat. We got into records. And then we decided that the flat records really weren't as sustainable as using the flat in the form of tape. So the tape that was the reel to reel, and then the record came.
And you had the conversation of going back. Oh, I liked that thing that you didn't like about that thing. You know, I want it.
It's not real music unless.
There's YouTube videos with millions, which means tens of thousands of dollars from just scratch, no music. And it's just the scratch of the record player, just the
right. And that's because we entered a level of reality where in which free space is easier to make than content. It happened
say that again.
I got you. Cool. Happy to chat again, by the way. For sure. Bless. We entered a time where in which free space is easier to make than content is. That wasn't always true.
That's the guard dogs at the end of the gates of the cycle that Thoth talks about, playing with their chew toys.
Yes. Excellence. Blends in natural sound, definitely so. Like, when you remember, and like, tell me, because this happens sometime. When do you remember USB drives going from, damn, that's expensive, I need one for my class, to, yeah, whatever, I can buy one and they're just whatever? Do you remember when that happened?
I'm not necessarily. Probably sometime when Amazon became a regular thing.
Right. Okay. So that was around the same time as cloud then.
I guess. What's that, like 24, 12? I don't know.
Yeah. Right around that range is when a lot of the technology got blurry, and there's a debate whether or not we skipped timelines. I'm not going to go too deep in tinfoil hat on the things, but you just entertain it as an idea, right? Because when computers came out, you had to have a lot of money to have a computer in your house. It was big and tankerous, and it had very small space, and you had to pay a lot for software. And so we had a relationship to the electric thinking rocks that was different. You had to bring in a monolithic electric thinking rock, and you had to make sure all the cables were plugged in right and tune on the thing. And it was like a TV, but with more settings. And then and then you're online, and now you're like connected. But now, like, if people have to reset their Wi-Fi once, they're fucking pissed. Totally, man. Absolutely. So
wild,
our relationship,
fucking wild.
Yeah. So our relationship to that dream world changed. Because it used to be to get to the internet, to the dream world, you had to like click a website, go eat some food.
It was a ritual, dude.
Right. And then when you were there, you were engaged. You were in it. You were Netscape Navigator was going. As soon as the page was done, you were scrolling. As soon as things were going, maybe it was like almost done. You were like seeing what you could find while it was loading, being like, what the fuck is this? But now we've sped up so fast, whether or not we skipped train tracks or there's a timeline hop. That's another conversation for not a deity focused discussion. That meant that our relationship to those ghosts in the machine, the spirits from the other side, I know the internet and the dream realm are connected in the back because I made a GeoCities website and I was like, oh, I have all the dreams of what this website could be, but I didn't have those dreams before I made the website. So just like before the piano was invented, we couldn't think of orchestras and symphonies. By creating the computer and now the technology of the internet, we could go super wide, deep, fast, and far. So we can buy terabytes and yottabytes and all this information, but to actually like create quality content and put it on there is a completely different trick of the mind, because you're creating things now that are relevant rather than things that are opportune. The opportunity of a blank canvas is not really relevant to anybody who's not an artist. But then the artist who takes that canvas and then paints a picture of a fox to give to the hunter becomes a relevant piece of the story.
Yeah.
So our magic, arguably in my mind, is how we juggle these light bodies. You and I are doing an advanced form of light work right now. We're kind of in the shade, but also looking at the lights, and our pupils are dilating a little bit because we're like receiving emanating light rather than looking at reflected light. And everybody who's listening to us right now, their ears sounds a little softer. They're getting artificial stimulation from the speakers. And it doesn't mean that it's not authentic, because like, this is really my voice. It could be an artificial voice, and then that would be even less cool. But the fact that we're able to have this communion means that we've identified already that we have an oversoul group. Like, we exist beyond ourselves.
Yeah.
But the only way for that to work is if we had a common language of what archetypes are, of what deities are, of what these things represent.
That common language thing is going in every direction, though, because of what you're talking about. Everything's so streamlined. It's like you can create your own common language. You think it's a common language that takes off like wildfire, but it's only that way because everything's so fucking streamlined. And then next year it switches. Now there's a brand new common language, and you think it's a common language, but they're all now it's like, fuck, right. You know, that's the hardest part, is being on the same level of language.
Language. Break it down etymologically. Try to figure it out real quick. Not gonna language. Just breaking it down. So language evolves through time, and it's based on region. So if you speak this regional accent from these decades, you're going to sound differently than somebody who speaks the same regional accent from different decades, or sound differently from somebody who speaks a different regional accent from the same decades. So the language is an evolving cipher. You and I have a kind of slanguage that we kick back and forth. Yeah, because we've chosen to communicate over time.
Yeah.
And when you're communicating with people, either you default to a codex or to a vernacular or to a pre-established vocabulary. Like in Japanese, there's like 10,000 brand new words that are only for medical people. And if you're not a doctor, like, we don't know what all of the medical terms are in English, but we fake that we do. Whereas in like other languages are like, nah, I don't know what a neuron peptide is. Sorry, I'm not educated. I'm not even gonna try to fake that I do. Yeah. Whereas a lot of the English language is like, no, really, we can like finagle shoe kick our way into the door without actually having the proper education sometimes, which some would say causes some problems. Other would say, go ahead. I was
gonna say that's annoying and and destructive at worst,
Right, and the destructive nature of it is from chaos because it doesn't have standards. Standards would be the arbiter of order. So if we didn't have the standards in like Boulder, Colorado, I think, where they have the perfect foot, like they have the exact foot, they have like an exact pound, they have like exact ounce, exact inch. They've got all the standards. And so all the things, all the rulers, all the scales, all the weights, even have the perfect clock. Like that's where the atomic clock is, I guess. That keeps the perfect time. And so through implementation of all these standards, now we're able to exist and have shared experiences and build things and buy and sell across different time zones, and it's not really too affected.
Maybe this is why chanting and doing chants and mantras and things like that stand for thousands of years do so, because it's like a subconscious agreement on the part of us all to be like, okay, we're all going to agree on this one thing and give this one thing power over and over again, so that we can have something fucking useful when it comes to a mantra.
For sure. And even a way to further tile that in would be the usefulness would be the frequency that mantra represents, or that practice. Why do we do the frequency, the feeling? Like if I chant this mantra, if I chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If I chant that about 3 times, I'm going to get a flood of dopamine to my brain. I can't help it. But that's based on the acupressure that my tongue is doing on the roof of my mouth. It's up, down, left, right hack. This is just the Konami code. So by finding different kinds of mantras and chantings, like, why do you guys say the Lord's Prayer every Sunday? That's really weird. But in saying a unified prayer, or why do you say grace every day?
Be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
It's still there, dude. As it is in heaven.
I was singing a song from church when I was setting this live up. I swear to God, one of the communion songs. It's actually a really pretty melody, and I sing it on it. But I was singing that today. I haven't sung it in years, and now we're talking about church chants. That's super. Is that Eucharist?
It's a coaster.
But I believed that it was Eucharist. Though I saw it, I was like, he's got it.
Technically, like. Now it's Eucharist. Like magic biscuit.
Fuck. The common language. That's
Right.
there you go, another example.
You got to look at it. I mean, even in biblical times, when the common language came out of the church and normal people were allowed access to Bibles and books, and then anybody could read, and then the word of God wasn't refined to the priestly class. Like in the United States, that actually had to do with a lot of other crazy things, including the teaching of mesmerism and hypnosis and tarot and mail order catalogs. All these things kind of came out at the same time. So America is actually an occult nation because our entire principle is being founded on people believing what they want to believe, provided they've researched it. You can't like right now you can't just say like I'm a Mormon and then practice your own like solid like isolated form of Mormonism and claim to be Mormon and not be connected with the Latter-day Saints. That's not really how it works. Just like there's a lot of like young punks, no hate, this is all love. Preface, this is all love. There's a bunch of young punks who are like, I'm gonna be a Satanist, I'm gonna worship the devil, woohoo. And like, okay, if that's really what you want to do, please take some time and become educated about what you're trying to do so you can do it properly. But a lot of people think that they know, and then they go and then they get the results of not knowing, and then they're concerned because the results of not knowing are different than the results of knowing. Kind of like playing a flute is easy if somebody shows you how, or if you've listened to it before, but if you don't have a living visceral example, then it's easy to mess it up. And I think we're in like the telephone game of people faking it for a couple eons now.
Yeah. And
so it's
just
actually
accelerating.
Right. And it's to the people who know that are the ones in charge. Because if you know, then you also know where your knowledge stops. You know where that limit is. And so the powerful, great thing about deities, and shout out again to Alchemy of Life for saying that it's about building a relationship or a friendship, because it is that you have a deity for a thing, for a range, for a frequency, for a spectrum, and then a different deity for something else. So you can acknowledge the diversity of your experience. So let's say, for example, you, Keith, if you decide you really want to up your Thoth game, right? Okay, so maybe getting some feathers, maybe choosing some of your favorite books, putting some feathers and like bookmarks in some of your favorite books so you can kind of ruffle your feathers and get some frequency back. That'd be one way to kind of do animistic shamanism. Maybe you're finding some kind of beak, hopefully not from a living creature, but I don't think you roll that way. So finding right different kinds of structures, and then maybe some time to go and go super deep with some of the forbidden consciousness stuff, because he claims a really heavy Thoth root. Now, whether he's doing it right or wrong is not for me or any other human to judge. But that would be the same thing as like if you really wanted to get into a relationship with Aries for your aggression side, for figuring out how you're going to handle an environment and kind of the god of war. Okay, well, maybe you're going to start like Brazilian jiu-jitsu and MMA. And you do that as a form of deity worship. You're not doing it to beat the crap out of the guy named Tom. You're just doing it so that you can turn yourself into a more appropriate fighter and protector, because that would be your sacred.
I'm kicking the shit out of Tom.
Tom and Todd and Taffy and all of them. Yep.
God damn it, Tom! I'm coming after you, Tom. I'm worshiping Thoth and come out. Just he's the one. He's the balance. He's the dark side balance. I'm taking on Tom, and then it's gonna be strictly for Thoth after that, or for Aries after that.
Fair. For sure. I'm sure Aries would be more than happy to help you take down Tom and all the associated like.
Yeah, no, it's been mostly, yeah, I need to get more into the, what would you call that, textual, actual physical touching on with the deity work. I don't do too much of the I do the intellectual shit. I'm like reading the books or listening to the chants, or I guess that could be sound related, but it's like sound and reading, or it's like are my 90%. But you're right, I do need to get some feathers or something like that,
Express your devotion in a visceral sense. It will be more satisfying.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
I'm C3PO, bro. That's what I do. If we hadn't been doing this for a year by now, I'd be no good at it. So gratitude.
Yep. There goes that's my cue. Have you been glancing at the chat room by chance?
Yep. I'm keeping my eyes on it, of course.
Hello, Amira Ithani. Nice to see you. Kevin's still sticking around. I'm glad for your comment, Kevin. Appreciate it. So, AOL, damn, dude. That's right. Energies there. What about controlling frequencies like telepathy?
Facebook is AOL of 2021. That's a news article I found today.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that, but
it's I'll totally send you a link and I'll drop it in the chat for people. It's from ZDNet.
Quicker to chant on the keyboard, just press copy and paste. Yeah, but you don't get that vibration with the chanting, which is, I don't know if we left that out, but that chant is that vocal cord vibrating, you know what I mean, is releasing that frequency. It's definitely worth noting, I'm not sure, the thought might have already escaped me, that while there could, earlier you had mentioned, well, Keith, are you not Neptune? Are you sure you're not? You know, we're living in this illusion. And that's what I meant. It's like, understand on the macro, but on the micro, there are still, for example, specific frequencies that you would use to do certain things where it's like, we're all one, but you definitely want to use that specific frequency and that tune and pitch because it's going to have a certain outcome. You know what I mean?
Right. Like if you're going for a run and you're going for a jog, you're probably not going to choose a relaxing lullaby.
Exactly. And I was bringing that point up to El Jaya. It's like you could type stuff out, but it's something about chanting, and it's just something about getting the vocal cords to rattle for you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's opportunity to go a little bit sidewall. This is throwing credit to Alchemy of Life for this. The only AOL that matters in my world. Heyo. But seed syllables.
Is he still in the room? Is he still coming? Oh, he's not here anymore. That's why he didn't come when I sent the link. He hasn't been chatting. All right.
Seed syllable mantras. The seed syllable mantra is the foundation part of the entire mantra. So if you can do some research independently or individually, I suggest people who are doing a mantra practice to begin to see what the seed syllables are of the mantra. It's kind of like an easy mantra to do is Om. Anybody can do Om. There's a debate whether it's OM or AUM or OHM. And I would rather chant Om than argue about it personally.
You would rather what?
Chant Om than argue about the correct way to do Om.
Fair.
Because people are like, Om is this and Om is that. It's like, why don't we just sit and you say Om and I say Om? And if you want to say Aum and I say Om with an H and you didn't know.
I was going to say it's the same thing. What difference does it make? But there is a difference between Aum.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely different.
Right. And so the viscerality of that kind of experience is one that's important to sort. Bless up Lemuria, for sure.
Lemuria just came in. What up, Lemuria? All right, I wanted to start wrapping this up, but I also hit up Lemuria to join on Instagram about an hour ago.
Bless. Got to standardize all the communication pathways. But shouts to everybody in the room. Gratitude and health.
I'm only accepting this link, even if it's just an introduction, Lemuria. I want to get you on because you put out that podcast. So I want people to see your face, or at least hear your voice. You don't have to share your face, but I know you wanted to come on. So that link is for you, Lemuria. Click on it if you want. Pressure, no pressure. To hop in and we can just get the trifecta going. Because it's been a long time coming. And hopefully I didn't cut you off right there. No, you said Lemuria, and that's what sidetracked me. Were you in the middle of a thought, Richie, or something?
Bless my brethren. I'm running hyperthreads all the time. I'm on like 6 different planes of reality. We're totally cool. Trying to reach out. Sending good waves to Agent Smith as well, but they're doing some inner work, so getting them Buddha powers going in.
Smith, Smith's killing it, dude. I sense a change in the winds with Smith.
Have you seen his TikTok?
No.
Hundreds of TikToks.
Is it really?
So many TikToks.
Nice. So many TikToks. He went the Gary V route. You know Gary V. He's just content.
Yep. For sure. He did day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, up to like day 70, day 80, day 150. Nice. Yeah, like
damn.
Roy. Super dope. Bearded Buddha. Have to get you his handle for sure. Gotta see if I can give him a web page and meet with him 2 days.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's because I send people meeting links and then we schedule that way instead of like tracking them down. You live streaming? Very good.
Smart.
Bless. For sure. All's well.
It would appear that Lemuria just said hello and dipped as well.
Everybody's having crazy adventures. I'd say, if at all possible, I'm curious, what's one thought that you'd like to leave everybody with, as this is like the second to last day of August, Man of Letters?
A thought to leave people with? Start your garden if you haven't already.
This late in the season, is it okay to start a garden in autumn?
Dude, you fucking plant whatever you want any time of the year. Even if it's you get some fruit tree, you get a fruit tree and you put it on your windowsill until friggin' spring. It's like just the bet. There's a saying in horticulture that goes, the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. And I lean heavily into that. And most of the people live in fucking, a bunch of the people on this channel live in California. You can plant winter squash. You know what I mean?
Yes,
There's
yes.
cold varieties of banana trees that grow in friggin' Washington. You know what I mean? Go research something that will tolerate your climate.
Yeah, blackberry season up here right now for sure.
Blackberries love the cold, danky weather. You can get yourself all berries. Most berries like that kind of weather. You know what I mean? It's like, I swear I have this thought every few days. It's like, how can we bring down Babylon?
Chant.
Everyone just start growing food. Start a garden. Start harvesting it. Start small. You don't have to be a fucking YouTube star. Like, I grew on a quarter acre enough food to feed my whole block. You know what I mean? I get crazy. Start, just plant some stuff. That's the thought. It's harvest season. You're going to be seeing all kinds. You're going to go into pumpkin patches, and you're going to think to yourself, this is so cool. And it's like, you could have your own pumpkin patch with as little as a bucket of water a day. You know what I mean? And one seed.
One bucket of water a day and one pumpkin seed.
One pumpkin seed, and you'll get yourself a couple pumpkins at the end. Something happens along the way, Google it. I got some white shit on my leaves. Google, how do I get rid of the white shit on my leaves? Boom.
Google who is strong.
You know what I mean? You got some healthy plants again.
So maybe that's the thing you want to do, is in a week, kind of follow up and say, hey, everybody, we're doing to check on your plants. Just got to see how your starts are, seeing how your gardening's going. This is what I'm doing. And do like a regular maintenance for people.
A regular maintenance for
plant earth.
Me.
For you engage
every week to see how everyone's doing with their garden.
Yep. Kind of like oversight, like just gardening check-in. Hey, digitally checking in. You watching your garden? It's going to be some random day during the week, but I'm just going to pop in and be like, hey, you need to be watering your garden if you forgot about it, or check these things. I just found this. And then it becomes like a, you know what I mean?
True. I can make it more official, because I swear I tell people, I feel like a broken record. I'm always telling people to grow fucking veggies. But I guess it would be a lot more useful to do a specific, hey, I am here for your garden. Do you have questions?
Or even, here's the top 5 questions that gardeners have. You want to start your at-home garden? Here's 5 really good questions, like what planter box? Should I put it in the silk? Should I just stick it in the yard? All right, here's the answer. Then here's the answer. You could either do it live, or you could do it pre and then premiere it, and then be in the chat for the premiere, so you can kind of maintain upkeep. Trying to figure out the best ways to roll out all that information, because with the green thumb that you got, like, did you see that movie, that cartoon with the green thumbs and like the black thumb?
Whoa, I feel like I did see. You're like a blast from a past right now.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
There was a green thumb cartoon movie back in the day, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was there a troll in it, or was there like mythical creatures? Dude, what movie was that? Oh my god,
I have no idea. But let's find out.
Oh my god, I don't think I've thought about that movie since I was a kid. That's crazy. That's so fucking. I have, using the word visceral, I have a visceral sensation of seeing the green thumb, and that's like the only image I have of the movie in my head right now.
I'm hearing it. Troll in Central Park.
Okay, that would make sense with the troll thing I was having.
1994, October 7, animated musical fantasy comedy.
Right up my alley.
Drop this in that main one as well. But yeah, like with the green thumb skills that you got, with that kind of ability to grow things and just having that process, you are a techno druid, sir.
Oh,
because you are.
The techno part, I feel like I struggle with the technology side.
Well, I mean, you're using a webcam right now, and you're live streaming to more than 10 people, and you're using a microphone, and you have music that's available for people to download, and you've recorded albums, and you use electrical microphones when you sing to people, and I think you drive a car, and you're using a lighter, and
I am a techno master when you put it like that.
Fair. And mastery is only the 3rd step. You got to keep going after that. So we're not done yet.
Noted. Okay, yeah. I'm all about the druid life. You know what's crazy? I wanted to read it. That's right. It's in my truck right now. I found the floppy disk. and the printout that my dad printed when he found the floppy disk of me writing about myself as this guy named Arcturus with my buddy Mesquite, and how I called myself. I was a druid named Arcturus, and he was a barbarian named Mesheath. And
Yeah.
I wrote it when I was 12, dude, on my computer and saved it. And it's like only like a page long or a page and a quarter long. But I
Man,
wanted
so I wanted to hear you read it. If not, like we can workshop it and storyboard it and expand this and then get animation and like turn this into a one-shot webcomic slash video slash get it signed by Hulu. Like this can go places. I'm stoked.
How about this? I'll at least send it to you beforehand, you know, so that you're imagining. And if even if it's simple, be like, all right, we can do this, add this music. It'll take a day or two to produce, and we'll make something cool out of it. I'm down. I'm more than down for that, because that's been like the #1 video thing that I've been wanting to do, but I wanted to do it proper, so I haven't done it yet. But yeah, dude, I just
way sweet. So now, do you have any other mysterious floppy disks from your past that could have potentially vital data? Like,
no, and not that I remember. The only thing I ever remember saving, and I was so excited that it worked. I remember hearing the little click that it does when it makes the sound there, and then I put it, I pulled it out, and then I put it back in. Information on this magic fucking floppy thing, and then
you know, inside the floppy disk is a flat piece of film that looks like the inside of a cassette tape.
That's what the information stored on, and that both of them, the actual floppy one, and then because I have it stored on the smaller, harder one.
So the 5.5 one, the large one, where you can move the thing and you can see the film in there. Same technology inside of a hard plastic case.
Oh, okay.
So it's still that kind of analog storage point, but that got superseded by CDs because the CD would spin and it would have the information like 8 different times. So no matter what part of the CD it was on, the laser would go up and it could grab the information off the CD.
Really?
Yeah, like when you play a vinyl record, it goes around and there's only one track, so it plays it all the way through.
I thought the CD was the same way. It's not.
Nope. The CD has a like about 8 different copies of the information stored in a line, and then when the CD spins, the computer knows to go from the center out or from the out in, and it grabs the different file repositories. So it's kind of like if
sorcery.
Right, but let's say you had a group of friends who were in a big family, okay, and they were all doing track and field. And one of them was always going to be jogging on the beach, but you never knew which one. Well, if you need to learn anything about the family, you just go down to the beach and you talk to whatever brother or sister was running by because they're always down there. So that's what the CD is doing, is it's spinning, but it always has the copy of the information right above because it's spinning so fast.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
Right. When we load from floppy disk, it would take a long time because it has to do one-to-one pull. But then the CD did that, and then the DVD, and then the Blu-ray just continued on that tack.
Oh, shit.
So that's how we use light and plastic to store information.
There you go, guys. That's why she gets paid the big bucks. All right, well, we're going to start wrapping it up here. Lemuria, it looks like you weren't able to get in, but congrats on that podcast. It's super dope. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. Do you happen to have the title of that so I can put it in the comments, Richie?
The Heretic Podcast. I'll find a link for it real quick.
Okay. So everyone, Lemuria, who popped in the comment section, is on some next level shit too, and has a lot to share and a lot to say. And he was just on a podcast recently. Richie's going to get you that link. I saw it on his Instagram, so it's going to take me a lot longer to get it up to you guys than it would for him. Is that? Nope, that's wicked. Many plants have their own special frequencies. Oh, that was sweet. Yes, they have their own special frequencies. Let's see. Cool. All right. While you're finding that, Richie, do you have anything else that you wanted to add, or
I am
any paraphernalia you would like to leave behind for the squad?
Everybody, stay awesome. If at any point in time you think that you are having a difficult time being awesome, remember to practice the self-care. Remember to reach out to your homies. And whenever possible, celebrate without expectation.
Celebrate good times
Come
coming.
on.
It's a
Mhm.
celebration.
Bless. All right, so I found this Heretic podcast and I'm looking for it, but my Instagram game is low, so I'm trying to dig up the link.
Yes, Aljaya. Cerridwen will help the gardens. She will indeed. Maybe I'll offer some corn. I'll offer some corn, some ears of corn to Cerridwen. That's what I'll finish. The finishing offering for tonight's video for the chant. I have a whole basket of corn that I harvested. It's all dried and ready to be milled. I'm stoked. I'll put one on the altar for her. Thank you for the reminder, Aljaya.
Nice.
And thank you for being here, Wendy. Thank all you guys for being here. Amira, Richie, thanks, buddy, for helping.
For sure.
Jaya, Lemuria, who else was in here? Alchemy was in here. Aaron, thank you, Aaron, for being here. Phoenix, Eternal Soul, all you guys.
Gratitude to Windy Blue.
Gratitude. And oh, dope. And the link has just been posted for Lemuria's chat.
Spotify link in the chat.
Spotify link in the chat.
I'll drop it in the comment after this video is done and it's up and baked. I'll put it in the comments there too.
Okay, nice. Proactive. I like it.
Bless. For sure. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Well, good night, everybody. And Richie, are we ending here? You want to end it?